Hey, hello, and welcome to the Halloween special of Pokemon Creepypastas. These are recorded on Halloween, but will probably be posted the day after Halloween, and I'm sorry about that, but let us get started. Do you remember when you first discovered glitches in Pokemon? I remember when I did. Summer of 1999 at Kingswood Summer Club. Pokemon Red and Blue had been released the previous year, which I guess would make me 8 or 9. The Pokemon craze was in full swing over here in the UK. Oh, sorry about that. Every day I packed up my Pikachu Yellow Game Boy Advance, well, Game Boy Color. Pokemon Red permanently slotted in the top. My friends and I gathered together with our link cables for epic battles. Together, and we traded and battled all day. Or just until our parents came to pick us up at home time. Around midsummer, our group was starting to feel like we hadn't seen it all and done it all. Sure, I don't think we'd ever caught them all. Back then it seemed like an impossibility. We had grind to level 100, eliminating the Elite Four more times than we could remember. The game was starting to lose its draw. And then there were just still 4 long weeks this summer. Then we saw Missing Go. I remember the first kid I knew to have him. He told us his brother showed him how to catch a super rare, super awesome Pokemon. We gathered round as he revealed the Pokemon to us. The magical, distorted, burst L shape that he held the key to infinite rare candies. We were all instantly in love and dying to get one of these rare Pokemon for ourselves, so we passed on the secret and showed us how. Within the next few days, our little group was hooked on glitches. We scoured magazines for the latest bugs and tricks. We visited Glitch City, battled all kinds of high-level Pokemon off the coast of Cinnabar. We even caught Mew. But there was one glitch which I've never been able to find record of since. Funnily enough, I can't remember the details of how to pull it off, but I remember the outcome. Glitchlett. The technique for finding this little guy followed a pattern of a lot of tedious Pokemon encounters. Bugs in Red and Blue, talk to this dude, fight at this place. It might have something to do with Celadon. But I'm not sure, really. Glitchlett was just as you'd expect, a glitched up Diglett. The sprite was mostly intact, but the face was distorted. Missing Go style. There were a few distorted lines through it, like scam lines. And the crowd was a little weird too, though I can't put my finger on what it was. His level was never visible, but we guessed it must have been over 100, as we could hardly put a mark on him while trying to catch him. Most of us resorted to one of our many cloned Master Balls. We nicknamed him Glitchlett, and the night we were eagerly trying out what this guy could do. The next day we all met up to compare the results. By this point we all considered ourselves Pokemon glitch experts. Experience with Glitchlett were varied. One guy claimed it messed up his game so bad he couldn't play anymore and had to reset. Others said they tried to battle with Glitchlett, only to find the game crashed every time they tried. I had the most luck in battles with the new glitch Pokemon. His only move was Dig, and he couldn't learn any HMs or TMs, even though he's expected to be able to learn. A wild Pokemon, Glitchlett was a powerhouse. He never lost PP, and together we OHKO'd every Pokemon. But the attack itself was odd. It took 2 turns as usual, but after the first turn he'd been hit with some kind of self-damage recoil. There was no explanation other than Diglett was hurt and that strange cry. But it never made much of a mark on him. Glitch's HP was higher than anything I had ever seen, because it only took 1 dig to destroy any wild Pokemon. It was never much of a problem. I laid waste to my friend's teams during link battles, and he soloed the Elite Verb. I remember when things got even stranger. I was leveling up a team using the XP share, destroying wild Pokemon with Glitchlett seemed the obvious choice, and I maxed many Pokemon this way. I'd woken up early that morning to level especially, and had spent all the day KOing wild Pokemon. At that moment I was under my bed covers, with my trusty Game Boy Color light. Mom would have gotten mad if she knew I wasn't asleep. Everything was going according to plan. My new team was leveling up beautifully. Concentrating pretty hard because it was too late when I noticed how low Glitchlett's health had become. I selected Dig for a final time and watched him begin to descend into the ground. As expected, I received a message. Diglett was hurt. I heard that piercing cry, louder than before. My stomach turned as I watched his health bar slide towards 0. The bar doubled back on itself and seemed to empty 4 or 5 times before Glitchlett repeated his dying cry. Now a horrible noise. Glitchlett was killed. Do you want to use your next Pokemon? I know it's a cliche in these kind of stories, but I remember that vividly. I selected no. My other team members would have not made a mark on the enemy Pokemon anyway. I was wrapped over the world and found myself in the unknown dungeon, opening my Pokemon menu. Confirmed what I've seen in my party. My beloved Glitchlett at the top of the party was reduced to 0. His health is finished. I selected him. I'm not sure what good it could have done. I thought it might have helped, and I noticed something different. Maybe it was there before, but I think I would have noticed that Dig was now selectable outside of battle. I thought for a moment. Maybe it was the atmosphere, but this move was suddenly chilling me. Glitchlett had never been damaged by any wild Pokemon, only by this move. It wasn't even as though he'd hurt himself in confusion with the coil. Whatever had hurt him and ultimately killed him had been underground all along, waiting, sapping Glitchlett's health all time I sent him into battle. His death cry echoed in my ears as I realized what I'd done. My thumb hovered over the 8 button again, my brain willing myself to dig and get out of the cave. My stomach felt just sick. What was there down there anyway? I was stuck with no choice. The exit was too far away. My remaining Pokemon would be destroyed if I tried to get there. With a lump in my throat, I dug. My sprite began to spin in the ground, and the screen went black. I wasn't surprised when I realized where I was. Not the entrance to the cave, or even the nearest Pokemon Center, but a glitched out cave that I now realized was some kind of bug version of Diglett's cave. I checked my Pokemon and saw Glitchlett's health had been restored. He was now my only Pokemon. The other 5 members of my team were missing entirely. I chose Dig again. Oak scolded me. Apparently this wasn't the time to use that for means of escape. I set off looking for the accident. My sprite moved slowly, more of a crack than a walk. As I moved, the cave's walls bugged out, turning red, flexing and swelling in and out like the lungs of a monster. Slowly the music began to play, high-pitched, distorted and horrible. It was quiet at first, but grew louder with every step. As it played, something began familiar. A familiar tune, beneath the whirling bug notes. Without thinking, I began to mouth the words of the music. Diglett ding, Diglett ding, trio, trio, trio. Diglett ding, Diglett ding, trio, trio, trio. Then I encountered a Pokemon. A wild dog trio appeared. as distorted battle music began. The level 225 Dog Trio appeared before my eyes. The cry was an awful, warped scream that seemed to become a gnashing crunch before stopping entirely. The trio's sprite, like Glitchlett, was deformed. The trio's three faces with hollow eyes and twisted into pixel howls that looked somehow painful. The bottom of the sprite was unrecognizable. It looked as if 6 deformed claws were rising out of the dirt in front of Glitchlett, the trio's body. One Pokemon was released, and Glitch's pack sprite appeared before me. His cry played again, quiet and seemingly a lot weaker than before. I was just a bystander now, as the game took control, selecting an attack from the menu. Of course, Dig was the only option. My hands were sweaty as I gripped the Game Boy tight. My breath was hot on the screen. Dugtrio went first. Dugtrio used Scratch. It hit 6 times, each tear triggering a pitiful cry from my Glitch Pokemon. Glitchlet was left a silver of a health as he retaliated with his own attack. Diglett struggled. It hardly made a mark, as expected. But it's strange how Diglett had never lost PP before. As previous, the game selected the next move. As attack was chosen, I noticed that Glitch suddenly had no moves. 2 words appeared for the first 2 attacks. Should have been no, help. The trio's cry echoed again as it launched an assault of scratches with its deadly, horrible arms. Glitchlet was killed after the first strike. Diglett is dead. Do you want to continue? I didn't really understand the question, but that didn't matter. No was selected for me, and the battle faded away. Back on the overworld, the walls swelled and glitched before my eyes, and the maddening music began again. I inspected Glitchlett. His sprite had changed now. Although his face was never visible like the trio's, it seemed to be formed into a pixelated screen. Dark brown streaks cutting through the sprite. They looked like claw marks of blood. I pressed on. I don't know what I was thinking at this stage, that this tiny Pokemon had infected my game in a much bigger way than expected. Glitch Pokemon seemed kind of wrong to me then, as though it was something I ought to not have been messing with. Something we didn't understand or couldn't control. With no Pokemon left, I was surprised to find that I didn't black out or just warp into a Pokemon Center. The game just continued as usual. It was only a few steps before the Pokemon encounter scene played and the screen turned black. A wild trio appeared. This Pokemon sprite was different to the last, almost completely disfigured. The cry seemed as if it didn't end, screaming and wailing as a pixelated monster appeared on the screen. Though the glitches and cut pixels were on the screen, I couldn't make out the hollow sockets of the eyes. But one thing I could see were the 8 terrible clawed hands and the gaping mouth. With no Pokemon left, my trainer's back sprite faced the glitch head on. Before my eyes, the screen faded as my Game Boy battery cut out. Whatever had just gripped me in fear, that night I didn't sleep. I even took the game out of my now dead Game Boy, although I'm not sure what that would have done. Days later, I started the game up. I did not save during what happened, so I returned to my last save point. Glitchlett was at the head of my party. Dig was his only move. I thought for a moment, before abandoning that game forever, starting anew. But I'll never forget how it started. And now, it all happened like something out of a horror movie that keeps on repeating and repeating over and over and over whenever I saw that glitch head on. But everybody has to move on, and I can't seem to forget the whole thing like it never happened. Digging into my skin, controlling my actions. But it's all in my head. I know I must have been hallucinating this whole thing. And when I see that cartridge, all the fear and horrors are still in there. I'm waiting for it to come out and scare me forever in my head, for eternity to come.